Hello, everyone. My name is Takema Keys. I am a rising senior social work major from Washington, D.C., and the topic that I focused on for my paper was what people with ADHD may face in the long-term effects. So I will start off with the introduction, which includes the background, problem, and thesis, and then I will focus on the three different types of stigmas relating to ADHD, and then I will conclude with my conclusion. Hyperactivity was first introduced in the late 1950s and early 1960s. It was then later coined. Here is the definition for ADHD. About 200 million children throughout the U.S. are diagnosed with ADHD. ADHD is a very prevalent disorder throughout the U.S. However, most people do not have the proper knowledge on the disorder, so they tend to form up preconceptions of what the disorder may be. So they may say, oh, well, this person with ADHD is crazy or dangerous, or just try to avoid them altogether. Uh, which cause them to have different stigmas placed upon them. My thesis focus on the different types of stigmas relating to self, mental, and social. Self-stigmas are stigmas relating to intrapersonal skills. So they tend to distance themselves from others. They also do not work well in groups. Also, they tend to put themselves down, which lower their own self-esteem, which is a significant loss for work and social related skills. For mental stigmas, I focused on the educational aspect. So ADHD is very there are many difficulties when dealing with the educational, cognitive, and social development. Students with ADHD tend to have lower grades, lower test scores, and are at risk for repeating or staying back, or dropping out of school completely. Also, ADHD within adults and children are very different. Children are more likely to experience peer rejection than adult rejection. Those with ADHD tend to have more than one learning disabilities. Social stigmas, social stigmas relate by those who are diagnosed with ADHD. They tend to be discriminated against because of their disorder and things of that nature. And so now going into the adulthood of it, it is linked to misperceptions and confusion by others. So of course, like I previously stated, they are more likely to be known as crazy, dangerous, or, oh, let me just avoid that person altogether. Also, professionals and people don't have knowledge on the disorder. So of course, if I don't have any knowledge or things of that nature, I'm going to sit here and that something is wrong with you. However, I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm just making a stereotype about you. It is also linked to criminal records. So they have a lot of like criminal records and things of that nature. So the statistic down here states 45% of youth and 24% of adult male offenders have had some type of childhood history of abuse. And then 14% are continued symptoms that are into adulthood. Here's my conclusion. So, of course, I previously stated that ADHD is very prevalent throughout the U.S. It is among all Americans, and it doesn't have an age limit. Of course, there will be different types of stigmas placed on those people with ADHD. And of course, the three main ones that I focused on was self, which is distancing themselves from others, mental, having lower grades than the rest of others, the rest of people without ADHD. Social, having criminal records and things of that nature and being discriminated against by their peers. So what I came up with, or like solutions, will be spreading awareness of the disorder, because of course, like I stated before, we don't have, well, most people do not have a lot of knowledge or information on the disorder. So they just go by what they think or what they believe. Also, to avoid, they avoid interacting with them. So we should start interacting with them, because it's very important to have that interaction with them, to understand them and get to know them and things of that nature, because you never know what can happen, how you can impact that person's life and things of that nature. For instance, how did you meet your friends? You interacted with them. You wouldn't have ever met them if you never interacted with them, if you avoided them and things of that nature. Professionals should have more job training, because there are going to be a wide variety of people, and they may have different disabilities or mental disorders, and they should have that training. Yes, you're not going to have training on all disorders, but however, the main ones that are mostly out there, such as ADHD, because it is a wide variety of people have it, they'll have that training for it. Also, the community should have training, because they're interacting with the community. So it's just very important for them to have that training and things of that nature. Also, providing resources on the disorder to people, the public, anybody, because it's important. You never know. Also, going back to the professionals for job training, they have to know and have that proper training. And also for the community, because you never know, you could trigger somebody or something like that, or you just never know. They could be a symptom they're reacting to or something like that. And also, professionals should know, due to, of course, them working there. So they may do something that wasn't appropriate. However, it could be their symptom and stuff like that. So they should be aware, so they don't just fire them and things of that nature, and come up with a strategic plan to help them. And the last line for my conclusion is, awareness plus action equals decreasing stigmas and discrimination against individuals diagnosed with ADHD. So, of course, we should spread awareness and take action, which can decrease or eliminate, well, I don't think we will eliminate, but decrease stigmas and the discrimination for those who are diagnosed with ADHD. These are the sources that I used for my paper and presentation. Yeah. I just want to say thank you for watching my presentation. I appreciate it. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reply. Any criticism, that would be great, because I really need this. And thank you.